I'm Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporters Mr. Liam Keane. Liam, Wolves 1, Liverpool 2. Good in parts, but ultimately mistakes cost them. I feel like I sound like a broken record at the moment.
Yeah, exactly my sentiment really. Same old story, isn't it? Wolves play well in parts, don't particularly do a lot wrong. I don't think they have a lot of attacking threat, to be honest, throughout the game. That's my biggest negative, I would say. But overall, they do okay. They don't. Yeah. It's not a bad performance by any means, but it's a performance that once they somehow, I mean, quite fortuitously, albeit very good work from Larson, get themselves back level. To throw it away in the manner they do is the most frustrating thing, and we should just come straight onto it. Now to the Semedo situation, I don't think he had a bad game particularly. Semedo, I thought he did okay, and unfortunately some people on social media are desperate to protect certain players regardless of what happens. That's a massive defensive error, and that's a penalty, and he's lost Wolves a point potentially. I mean, there's no guarantee Wolves go on to get a point anyway, but it ends 2-1. He gave the penalty away. Salah scores the penalty. It's a mistake from a player who is much better than that, and you have to call it out when you see it. I think it's a stonewall penalty. I think it's very clumsy and very naive from a player who's a lot more experienced and should know better.
When you get to 1-1 in that game, to concede within 90 seconds in the manner that they do, that's almost as frustrating as you're possibly going to get for Gary O'Neill, because you know you got yourself back into the game. The most important thing in this game tonight was getting the fans involved. They were involved, they were having a period, they get that goal, and to even just give the referee a decision to make in the box, you can't do that, can you?
No, even if, as you rightly put it, even if the penalty isn't given, he's treading a very fine line there. In my opinion, it's a penalty. I think it's pretty clear. Regardless of how soft some people may think Jota goes down, you cannot. He gets the wrong side of the player, first of all, and you cannot put your arms around and essentially drag to the floor an attacking player in the box. Unfortunately, it's going to be given. Anthony Taylor's right on top of it. To be honest with you, he's the kind of referee that I think he's not going to let an opportunity like that pass him by. He's going to give the opportunity for a penalty, not because it's Liverpool or it's against Wolves, but I think he's the kind of referee that's going to be on top of those kind of situations and will not let it slide. And to be honest, even if he didn't give it, there's an argument that VAR would overturn it anyway.
Lots of big, obviously the virus situation happening yesterday. Craig Dawson out the side, Santiago Bueno came in, so it was Bueno and Totti Gomez at the back. How did you feel they did as a central defensive partnership?
Okay, it didn't blow me away. I don't think they were particularly poor. I think Totti has to do a lot better for the Konate goal. I do. Yes, Konate gets the run on him. It's a very good leap and it's a very good header. So the attacking player does very well in that situation. But I think Totti is too slow to react, and it's an almost bizarre leap from him where he sort of jumps sideways. I don't think he has any idea that Konate's there. And to be honest, he got away with one just before with Szoboszlai, and it was a fantastic save from Johnston. Doesn't realise Szoboszlai's there, completely lets him get the run on him, and it should be a tap-in. Aside from those two chances, Totti did okay. Santi Bueno was probably the better of the two. Neither outstanding, but neither disastrous by any means. But Wolves do miss Dawson when he's not there. He is a starter all day long for this team. He makes the players around him better, and he was, well, I mean, we haven't spoken to Gary O'Neill yet, but you would assume one of the players that's down with this virus, hence was unavailable, and Wolves missed him. And you find yourself in a situation now where Wolves have ended the game with Mario Lemina playing centre back. We're 6 games into a season.
Yeah,
I don't think that's good enough.
You talk about Szoboszlai. I mean, it was a fantastic save, point blank save by Sam Johnston, and that was the high point for him in what was, for me, a disappointing afternoon, a disappointing goalkeeping performance from him. Few mistakes, his distribution was poor, I think, throughout. Obviously, the goal, I think he could have done better with as well. Gary O'Neill's chirped 2 or 3 times at him during the game.
And spoke to Neil Cutler a few times, doesn't he?
Yeah, look, there are going to be teething errors. There are going to be growing pains in this situation because he is a new keeper and he's learning a new system, but at the same time, when you spend £10 million on a player, when you replace a Portuguese international, although Jose Sá's not covered up in glory at Brighton either, you expect someone to come in and dominate, and I don't think he's dominating the box at this moment in time. I feel like he's short on confidence, and that's not what you want in a team that's desperate to try and pick up a point or two.
Yeah, I think he came in, and we saw from that Forest performance and probably the the moments that followed, that he was a relatively calming presence, particularly in comparison to Sarr, who I thought was quite erratic, to be honest, and definitely under form, or out of form rather than under par for the quality he has. But I have to completely agree with you. I thought Johnston, aside from that save, which it is a fantastic save on Szoboszlai, you can't take that away from him, he looked rattled early on. We know what the Molineux crowd is like. They're a fantastic source of energy for the players. But when they play out from the back and it gets hairy, it gets scary, and the fans don't like it, and the fans start to get a bit nervous. And unfortunately, I felt like Johnson reacted to that in the wrong way. He looked very, very scared of making a mistake for a player who is much better than that. And it's similar to Semedo, he's experienced and a good player. And I don't think he showed that, aside from that one save we're talking about. 2 errors playing out from the back that he could have easily been punished for. One going directly for a corner, and he just looked frantic, which is the same way I have described Jose Sarr in the past, and that for a £10 million signing is not a ringing endorsement.
Look, I understand that the passing across the back four, and it can be a little bit nervous at times, but they've got to keep possession, and the stats I'm sure will show that that's the best way to go, as a lot of other teams are doing it. By the way, a lot of other teams are struggling with it as well. It's not just Wolves. But when you're 2-1 down, I felt like they were always going backwards. I'm like, and you're looking, you want them to just turn around and just go forward. They've got players who can do things in the positions. You've got Carlos Forbes on there. You want them to run it, and yet I feel like it's just this need to keep the ball, to keep possession, when really you've got 20 minutes in the game against a world-class defence. You've got to try and penetrate them for a second time in the day, and it's not happening. You're not going to do it with your back to ball going backwards towards Sam Johnston.
Completely read my mind. Probably the thing that frustrated me the most about today, regardless of individual performances and mistakes and the goals, is the reaction to going 2-1 down. The crowd were with Wolves, the crowd were there. Gary O'Neill was there with Wolves. He was urging the players forward. It's not Gary O'Neill's fault that the players weren't passing the ball forwards in those last 15-20 minutes. He is desperately asking them to play the ball forward. I'm watching him on the sidelines, desperate for them to just have some sort of impetus, some sort of energy, inject some life into the game. And their reaction, I thought, was very poor. They have reacted well, albeit not picked up points, but have reacted well to going behind in certain games. You get nothing for it, people don't remember it, but I think in terms of analysing it, they have reacted well in certain games. They didn't react well at all here today. I'll give you a great example. Matheus Cunha, who I think is a fantastic footballer, who I think Wolves, to be honest, are over-reliant on, unfortunately, which is a negative. But when he's on song, he is up there, one of the best in the Premier League. I think he's that good. He was way off it today, for his standards, way off it. And in that second half, when Wolves do get the ball to him, and once or twice he had a run and it was decent, it ended with nothing, but the majority of the time, the Wolves did get the ball to him, 10 minutes to go, make something happen. Bad touch, playing out of possession, just all over the place, just not keeping hold of the ball, not getting others into play. He looks lost out on the wing. I think he needs to be more central, and Wolves just haven't found a way of getting him into the game. And equally, when he did get into the game and did have possession, he was so poor with it. And that's a player who is, again, far better than that. I like it to Semedo, far better than the performance that he showed with that one mistake. And these individual players, these experienced players, he's still a hell of a lot better.
I feel like with Cunha, and we know how good he is, like you say, we know he wears his heart on his sleeve, he's a very emotional person. I feel like he's taking it on himself and putting too much pressure on himself at this moment in time.
Yeah, I do.
He's the one who says, I know what I can do. He showed it at Villa.
But it's single-handedly, isn't he?
Yeah,
he wants to go out there and just do it himself.
But it feels like there's no confidence there. I feel like Bellegarde, I thought was ineffective today.
Yeah.
I thought Larson did well for the goal, but at the same time lost his man for the first one and was ineffective. I think overall was pulled at 60 minutes today. He's not getting a lot of help. So if you're a team and you're trying to defend Wolves and stop them from being effective, what do you do? Well, let's stop Matheus Cunha, because if you stop Matheus Cunha, then you've got a great chance of beating Wolves, and that's the problem at this moment in time, that they're over-reliant. I think he's trying to do too much himself, and that needs to sort out. And players have got to start stepping up. They've got to be helpful. I thought Larson and Cunha looked really good at the start of the season. I think that's dropped off. I think Larson's dropped off a little bit, and he's isolated Cunha, and he's trying to do too much. That's the problem at this moment in time. Right, the most important thing is, and look, whether you play well, whether you play badly, all the fans are going to look at it. They're going to look at it tonight, they're going to look at it this week. Played 6, lost 5, drawn 1, bottom of the table, 20th in the Premier League. You can play, you can talk as much as you want about positives. End of the day, the facts are in that Premier League table. That's the most important thing. They go to Brentford now. A tiny bit of a respite, I guess, from what they've had recently. But at the same time, they've got to perform, because otherwise you're going to be played 7, lost 6. Then you've got Manchester City at home, which, you know, could be anything at this moment in
that
time.
international break in between is going to be a long international break.
And then you go to Brighton away.
Yeah, exactly,
so you know,
Palace here.
we can't wait on these results. We can't wait to this. Someone's got to do something very, very quickly, and it can't just be coming from manager. It's got to come from those players. I still think Wolves will be fine. I genuinely do. And I think, yes, if they've had a couple of better, easier games, in inverted commas, at home, they would have had some more points. But the fact of the matter is they haven't. They haven't. And then it puts pressure on the games where you have to win, where you're expected to win. And that creates a different atmosphere here, away from home as well. The Wolves aren't going to win all these games that they're expected to. It's just not going to happen like that. Premier League, it's hard to win a Premier League game. But have you seen enough that they can turn this around? And they've got to start doing it, not in 3 or 4 weeks' time. They've got to start doing it next Saturday at Brentford.
No, I agree. Yes, the fixture list plays a part. Yes, they've got better games to come, but you're spot on. You can't rely on, right, well, let's just lose the next 3 or 4 and just wait for Southampton at home. It doesn't work that way. Not going to happen. You have to turn up for every game. And what I have seen is enough in the performances. Now, I understand fans will get frustrated at losing games and think, oh, God, the whole performance was crap. The whole performance hasn't been crap. But what it has been is another failure, because they've lost the game. And you have to try, and I have seen enough positives, but you have to try and take those positives and build on them, because they do look devoid of confidence. You talk about Cunha's situation, I liken it again to Mario Lemina. I thought he had a pretty decent first half, maybe first half of the first half, if you will, and then lost his way a bit. Desperate to try and do everything himself, desperate to try and drag the team forward, and I commend that and I respect that, because he's a player who is emotional, is the captain, has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. I think he feels that responsibility, and I like that, I respect it, but you have to trust the people around you as well, and Wolves have got some good players on that pitch. You have to trust the others around you. João Gomez had a very good first half. Andre, I thought, was fantastic for the whole game, to be honest, today. Forbes comes off the bench, I thought was probably Wolves' best forward. Comes on in the 52nd minute and probably is the best attacking player in a short space of time. You have to start trusting these players around you as well. I do feel that those couple of players, as good as they are, and as well-meaning as they are possibly holding them back a little bit, because they just are not trusting those players around them.
Yeah, they've got to sort it out, and hopefully get some points on the board starting next Saturday, not to be today. Wolves 1, Liverpool 2. For all the post-match reaction, make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.